Only once. After I ask you this question, you may tell me whatever you want to tell me, and I will believe you. I will believe whatever you tell me.
Yes, teacher.
I will believe whatever you tell me, but if I learn that you have lied to me about the answer to the question, I
understand, teacher.
Very well. Adam, does the white dust found in your belongings, does it belong to you?
No! Teacher! No!
Where did you live before you came to this place?
Before here, I lived in Anchorage.
How long did you live there? It must have been terrible. It was always in the news, even on the HPC, for being one of the most lawless white districts in all North America. Almost as bad as Paris.
It was not easy. My father worked in the security services, so we lived in one of the fortified villages with many of the Dene. My mother worked as a keeper of knowledge for the Minister of Trade.
Kitsaya of Chikatnu. He is a very powerful man. Your family must have been well protected.
Yes, I guess. Keeper of knowledge only meant that she made the knowledge in the white way. She wrote it down for the world not to forget. But whenever we left the housing complex, we were harassed by security officers, always wanting to see our papers. Unless it was an officer from my dad's unit, they would not even accept his badge as proper identification. Too many people try to use fake badges, so we were constantly harassed. My mother was shot, leaving a Dene food shop. They thought she had stolen something.
That's terrible.
She was just trying to buy some food. We liked Dene food. The other kids said we were just doing it to be more accepted, but we really liked it.
I'm sorry.
That was when she died.
I'm so sorry.
Where are the others?
Michael is out hunting with the men. And Paul, well, Paul is Paul, probably planning something.
Paul will die.
Why do you say that?
I wish I was a good hunter. Then I could do something useful for the village and the school.
You are doing what you are supposed to be doing. You are learning our ways. You are still a child in our culture. That is why you stay with the women right now. When you gain more skill and understand the spirit world more, then you can do man things. I understand you watched a seal being dressed.
I do not feel worthy. Like Michael. Michael is a real human being.
Michael has been with us for many returns of the sun now. If he were Yupik, he would have already had a becoming aware ceremony. Maybe even taken a wife.
But he is white.
It's not just that.
But it is just that, is it not? We are white, so we will never really become men, or get names, or wives, or houses. no one will ever gift us or honor us.
I believe that you will become aware. All of you. Even Paul.
But even you cannot go as far as to say that we'll ever be seen as real. I'm never going to become aware, no matter how idealistic a teacher you are. My mother told me stories about awareness.
What stories did she tell you?
She loved telling stories. Stories about when the whites were real human beings also. Her parents were from Ire before the Great Wars. She said that long ago, we were real people too. That we understood the land, and they had their own spirit world, where spirits and fairies came from. And there were little people too, just like here. And they did the same things, mischief things. And how you could go into the trees and talk with the spirits and the fairies. And if you lived a good life, they would help your village and your family. She said back then that the whites did not think about themselves first. They thought about creation first and took care of creation. Then they thought about their villages and took care of their villages. Then they thought about their families and took care of their families. They did not have to think about themselves because creation and the village and the family would take care of them. Such a different way of thinking. But then the time of machines began, and that made everything easier. When it was easier to take from creation, it was easier to become selfish. It did not happen right away. It took a long time, she said. But eventually, no one took care of creation, and no one took care of their villages or their families. And then no one took care of them. So they had to start taking care of themselves. And they forgot about awareness. Nobody went to the trees to talk with the spirits or the fairies anymore. The little people were blamed for so much then. People did not honor creation with dancing or prayers. They forgot. The spirit world was even locked up into special buildings, churches, cut off from creation. Everything was separated then. Everything fell apart. We tried to eat too much, and we ate our homes and our villages. And when the great hungers began, and everyone had to move away, nobody realized that we caused the hungers. The wars, the bad weather, the dying land, all happened because we ate them. We forgot. We did it to ourselves.
Your mother told you these stories?
Yes.
Why did your mother tell you these stories? The whites don't believe in those things.
She said that one day, when the spirit world was angry enough with the whites, they would make great hungers for us everywhere we went. And when that happened, people had to be ready to remember again. She told me these stories to help me remember.
What do you remember?
I don't remember. I asked her to explain what it was, but she said it's not something you can learn or be told. She said that awareness is something inside of you, and that if you live your life with awareness in your heart, then the remembering would happen, all by itself. You don't have to try and remember. She said it's like breathing. That life happens, and then you breathe. You can't remember how to breathe, but you breathe if you were alive.
Your mother is very wise.
I'm sorry, I keep using contractions.
Adam, don't worry about contractions. Everyone uses contractions, even Elder. Don't worry about such small things.
Okay. That's why I like being here, at this school. I feel like I'm beginning to breathe again. I hear the stories, your stories, and I feel like they are my stories also. I hear the drums and the songs, and I dance. And I feel the dances like they are my dances. Like I've done all these things before, real human being things before. But while they were Irish stories and songs and dances, they are the same as Yupik. And if we lived someplace else, with some other real human beings, then we would know their stories and songs and dances like they were ours, even though they are different. Because that which is the same is awareness.
What is your favorite Yupik story that you've listened to so far?
Well, when one who laughs came and told us stories, I loved his stories.
He is a wise, wise elder.
But he was so humble. He seemed so small.
Yes, you understand that. I'll explain it later. But tell me the story that you like the most.
It was the story of Wind Girl. How she went out onto the tundra when the village was starving, and the wind spirits came to talk to her. The wind spirits liked her because she was so warm and loving and thought nothing of herself. She gave herself to the wind spirits to save the village. Now, on those cold days, when you were scared about the hunting being bad, or the fishing being bad, or the gathering being bad, Wind Girl will come and visit you and smell your cheek. When you feel her warm breath on your cheek, then you know that not all the winds are cold, and that not all the hunting is bad, or that not all the fishing is bad, or that not all the gathering is difficult.
What did you learn from this story?
I guess
Remember, you don't have to guess. It's like breathing.
I learned that what you experience is only difficult if you expect it to be. Wind Girl's warm breath reminds us that nothing is good or bad. It's just how you choose to feel about it. Bad hunting is good if you still get a seal or a caribou. Bad fishing is good if you still get a fish. Wind Girl reminds us to be thankful for what we have.
Why do you like Wind Girl?
Wind Girl was an orphan. She only had her grandfather, who wasn't really her grandfather, and he was very old and couldn't hunt anymore. But he was very wise and told her many stories. She was an outsider in the village because everyone in her village died, so grandfather took her in. He couldn't hunt anymore, and they would only give them rancid meat and oil, but they were always thankful. She could only gather plants and roots and berries in places where no one else had a camp, so she couldn't gather very much. But she was still thankful. Although he tried to help, she had to make all of her own fish traps and snares, and they weren't very good, and they didn't catch very much. But she was still thankful. She was never invited to dance with the village in the big house, but she would stand outside and dance with the wind. The wind spirits thought she was a beautiful singer and dancer, and she was always thankful that she didn't have to be alone. So that's why she went to the wind spirits for help when the village was starving. She gave herself to the wind spirits to save the village. Now, Laughing One says that many villages have springtime celebrations honoring Wind Girl for her sacrifice. I want to be like Wind Girl. I want to give myself to my village when it needs me, even if I'm a poor orphaned outsider. Even if I'm... Even if... Even if I'm only a white.
You're awfully quiet for a white in solitary house.
Forgive me. I didn't know anyone was there. Elder?
I am here, present, and you used a contraction.
Forgive me.
I know what you are capable of. We know your story. You're all the same. Why do you act so humble?
Act?
Never mind. Have you been thinking about what you've done?
That is the only thing I think about, Elder.
Good. Then you admit to being the dealer of white dust.
What? I don't understand. What?
Still playing stupid. Easy roll for a white.
You still believe that I...
Yes. And what I believe is the truth.
Then I am at your mercy.
What? What do you mean?
If the truth has no meaning to you, then I am at your mercy.
You would dare.
I do not dare, Elder. I only hope.
So, you do not admit.
I'm sorry, Elder. I can admit nothing. I can only hope that...
Hope what?
Hope that our village survives.
What?
I can only hope the best for my village. In the end, the spirit world decides. It does not matter what you think I did or didn't do, as long as my village survives.
No! My village requires absolutely nothing of you. You whites. No, we require nothing of you. You're only a burden now. Goodbye, Adam. I know your namesake much more than anyone should. And thus, I will not miss you. You, like the other whites, are unnecessary. This school is just a facade, a holding pattern, like the geese before they land. We know they will land. So why spend so much time circling around?
Because they want to make sure that...
Quiet! Quiet, you gull. You seagull. You're the quietest seagull I have ever met. Nothing will change. Your hopes are futile. The best you can hope for is throwing your hopes to the wind. They will scatter, of course, like all white hopes. Very well. Take your hope then. Take it to your kind. See how far your hope will take you. No one will follow you. It will be so much easier to clean up. You do not need to lie about the white dust. We know it is you.
Then why is Adam...
Oh, I loathe telling you this of all creatures, but you're important to this school.
You mean my father's company is important to this school?
Very well. There is an agreement between the company and this school to provide you with a proper education.
I don't need to be educated. At least the backwards things you teach here. My job is to learn how to run my father's company, and I can't do that here learning skin sewing.
You use contractions bravely. I have to admit I do take some pleasure in being here the moment one of you urchins break. When you realize how foolish your white ways really are. When you realize you will never be rulers again. When you realize your God is dead. When you realize you are stuck here.
I will never give you that pleasure.
Oh, yes. Yes, you will. After everything you put us through with your preaching and your ego and your white dust deals. Oh, by the way, your foolishness let the Dene authorities right to the heart of the white dust supplies for this region. Not only will you not make a profit anymore, the reason it is of your own doing, and do not bother to escape to Anchorage. Your own whites will kill you after what you've done. I told you I would enjoy this.
That will not break me. There are other means.
Very well. Do you know why you are not in solitary house?
Wait. What are you doing? What are you going to do?
Oh, something much more fun than solitary house.
Don't try anything.
You can have it all, just as you deserve. But first, you have to break.
I don't have to do anything.
But it is your father's wishes.
What?
Everything you want, except being righteous. That is my role.
But my father would never...
Yes, everything you want. Just give up your barbarian white ways, and it's all yours.
Impossible. My father would never...
Learn the way of the human being, and it's all yours, contractions and all.
He's really not dead. Is he?
Do you know why you are really here?
My father is not dead.
You don't know why you are really here.
My father is not dead.
International treaty states that no child will be taken.
Then why am I here?
International treaty has exceptions.
International treaty is a very globalist term for someone like you to use. Where
International.
is my father?
Think you have figured it out? Very well. What do you believe?
Adam is in solitary house, not me.
Whites are so selfish. And yet the truth is always easily hidden, right between the eyes.
You cannot do anything to me.
But break you with your father's consent.
I will find a way.
And you lose it all.
Do you not think that I am going to remember this? Do you not think that I will not destroy you and this school and this village once I am in control?
And you lose it all. You are clever.
For what? So I've heard all too often. Now why am I really here?
For your own good.
conglomerate, there's a white term for you. The heir to the most powerful energy conglomerate ends up helpless in a boarding school for wayward white boys in sealed fuck Yupik territory to be broken by some old Yupik bitch. For what?
For the world's own good. You've forgotten, haven't you? Your father was signing treaties before he left and has since signed many more. Apparently, he has seen the error of his ways. These treaties ensure...
I know what all the globalist treaties think! Lip walrus cocks! But those are treaties! I do not honestly believe that you honestly believe that treaties or contracts or agreements or whatever you real human beings choose to call them mean anything to you. They are just writing. And you think you are right, that you know how best to run the world, that it is your divine, your spiritual ordination, that it is manifest destiny. Treat the whites however you want and then change the rules whenever it suits you. I know what treaties mean to cultures without writing.
You funny dear boy. That's what the whites would do, what you did do. Everyone knows what the treaties meant to the whites, until you failed, of course, inevitably. Treaties are only as good as the people in power decide them to be. We, however, have not changed at all. We are the real human beings, and the principles that guide real human beings.
We'd never let you treat a human being the way you treat us.
But you are not a human being, much less real. Quite seem incapable of it. Don't you see? You've all done this to yourselves. You ate your own homes, not us. You descended into wars and hungers and diseases, not us. You live like mongrels, not us.
I have never lived like a mongrel.
Fancy house, good company, good schooling, perfect ineptitude. Such potential. And yet you still sit before me an unruly animal. You're all the same.
Shut up.
And you will all be broken.
Shut up.
Or you will be eradicated.
Shut up.
Oh, just like you deserve.
Shut up. Why are you smiling?
I will be disappointed if you break so soon. All of your charging and your bluffing like Great Bear. How disappointing that you're only a whimpering puppy.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
Disappointing, yet still satisfying.
Shut up! I am going to kill you! I'm going to kill all of you!
Take him to solitary house with a quiet one. If Adam is still there, it's going to be much more satisfying.
Elder, I am having serious concerns about what we are doing here at this school. I understand the need to assimilate these poor children into a Yupik way of life, but are we sure we are going about it the right way?
Oh, speak in your damn contractions. What's the use anymore? I don't even know why I'm talking to you about this. But apparently you've gotten support from the members of the village council, and they've urged me to hear you out. But don't be foolish enough to think that getting the support of a few globalist members, young council members at that, will get me to listen to you, as though it will change my mind.
I am honored to have the privilege to discuss this with you. Please know that I mean no disrespect.
No disrespect. Everything you've done at this school has been a sign of disrespect towards me and towards a proven effective method of education for these savages.
They're not savages.
Oh, they aren't, are they? Well, if you're so certain of their pedigree, why don't you share your wisdom on the subject of these dogs and their ability to learn?
And by our own Yupik philosophy, all things are equal and important to the Creator. They were all created to live together on this planet, like the wind and the berries. All have spirits. All were made from the eyes of awareness. All things, by our own logic, if least not compassion, must be seen as aware.
Perhaps the seals and the dogs and the wind and the berries are made from the eye of awareness. But I can't imagine the whites being so. Everything on this planet has a meaning and a purpose. But I still can't figure out what the meaning or purpose of a white is. Had they been allowed to grow, they would have been allowed to swarm over everything like a virus. They would eat everything.
Did you sign a contract with Paul's father? A treaty?
What do you mean?
Certainly, being a white with all their important paper, you would have to sign a paper ensuring his company provides energy for this school and the village.
There are certain things you must do in order to survive in this world. If the whites need some kind of paper, so be it. The village needs energy. We can't turn back time.
But we can turn back awareness.
Too much has changed already. But we can control how we live and how our traditions continue.
Our traditions teach us that all things have a spirit and feelings and purpose. And I believe some of the whites do have spirits and feeling and a purpose, just like we do. I've seen it.
I have seen you and the Adam boy. Just because a bear cub seems helpless and manageable when it is young does not mean it still will not kill you when it gets older and reverts to its instincts. Even we have a story about this, the woman who married the bear. It's in our traditions.
Adam is not a bear. He could not hurt a fly. But he thinks like a Yupik, and he learned it from his mother. She was
A mother bear takes very good care of its young, but it is still a bear. Nothing can change that, and nothing you can do can change the true barbarian nature of the whites.
But no one has taken the chance to get to know them. We just treat them worse than animals, and
We treat them the way history has dictated they be treated. Their own history, nonetheless. They are practically making us treat them this way.
and Michael,
Oh.
he's such a sweet boy. He is one of the best hunters in this village. Even the other men are asking him to stay back with them. Teasing One has started talking about Michael marrying his daughter.
Globalist fools. He'll destroy their family. Their offspring will be full of their father's filthy blood. If it's allowed to happen, it will be the end of Teasing One's family. And the whole village will have another degenerate family to care for.
But Michael excels at being Yupik. He does the ceremonies like he was born to do them.
Which I'm sure the village will pay for once the spirit world realizes what a worthless seagull he really is.
He loves you, looks up to you. He thinks of you as his grandmother.
Stupid boy.
He brings you the liver of everything he catches, honors you in his dances and stories.
Why would I contaminate my body and my spirit with the livers he brings to me? And how can he tell stories? He can't even put two words together without sounding stupid.
Wait. You just called him seagull, not gull shit.
Oh.
And no matter how badly you treat him, or what terrible names you call him, he still loves and honors you.
You are more tainted by these animals than I thought.
They're not creatures.
They are creatures! You have no idea what they are really like. You were not there when they attacked me, or what I went through. You don't know what animals they really are. But one day you will understand. One day the whole world will understand. They are animals, and they will always be animals.
Elder, how can you say such a thing?
You listen to me. I will only say this one last time. This school will not change its ways. It will not change how it teaches.
But it's wrong!
Quiet! No! Nothing will change at this school, and there is not a single thing you can do about it.
But the council believes that
You can talk to whom you want. You can seek sympathy from globalists and humanitarians. You can quit and become a warrior or an activist. You can start your own school. You can do anything you want. Kill me even.
Elder, I'd never.
Encourage everyone to use contractions. If that's all you've got. But I promise you there is nothing at all, my death included, that you can do that will change this school or the policies of the Inuit Department of Education when it comes to assimilating the whites. If you bring this subject up one more time in my presence, then I will banish you from the school and ask the council to banish you from the village. I tire of you whining about something of less consequence than swatting a mosquito.
I gather berries. I think there's something that I can do.
Go do it then. And leave me the bullshit alone. But no, once you've done whatever this is, you will be banished from this school and this village and your family. You will be an orphan! Can you hear me?
Still racking the former Indian colony of Britannia. Earlier today, two suicide bombers attacked laundress killing Hamilton Park Market. Extremist Christian rebels calling themselves the enemies of change have claimed responsibility, and are demanding the overthrow of the Indian Karma Party. This is now the 250th suicide attack to occur in this developing nation that borders the most populated in the Euro subcontinent, which was granted independence from Hindustan 37 years ago. Indian officials have stated the attacks have further reason to have a strong military presence in Britannia. Trade negotiations between Hindustan and Zhonghua have broken down yet again over the issue of worker pay and unionization in Dutchland and the Gauls. While both nations are concerned about the loss of valuable jobs to the Euro subcontinent, the Asian Leadership Council does not agree on which measures should be taken to meet the Euro
I can't be bothered now.
despite the need for cheap labor to produce goods. Tornadoes and severe thunderstorms have destroyed thousands of shanties
more than
in the
two.
Aztec territories like Oklahoma and Texas. The death toll is expected to reach into thousands. The Red Crescent
I don't know what to do.
Natural disaster.
You still don't know how to speak properly.
American continent.
Go somewhere else to cry. I can't deal with bullshit right now.
Red Crescent
Leave.
officials have stated, however, that the rampant corruption of local white officials and this hopelessly impoverished districts dissuades many people from donating money.
You my elder.
Quote, why donate money to try and help poor white people when only corrupt whites will profit from charity? Unquote. Leaders in many of the developed nations take quotes until they become more civilized and help themselves.
Get off me!
More whites.
Get off me!
Unquote.
And
And lastly this hour, a report just in from the Inuit province of Alaska, where a Yupik teacher and one white student have been found dead, with another at large and presumed dead, at the Bellevue Cherry Boarding School for wayward boys. No official word yet on the cause of this tragedy, but the globalist movement has called for a full inquiry. However, an Inuit Department of Education minister did state unofficially after a press briefing, quote, these whites will never learn, unquote. That's the news from the HBC, the Hindi Broadcasting Corporation, what the world needs to know. From Delhi, this is SRK Bola. Stay tuned. Lakshmi Andrakar will be up next. Today she is interviewing the world-renowned fashion designer, Rajat Sharvani. Thank you for listening, and peace be with you.
You stupid boy. Everyone uses contractions. Very well. Up. Up. We have some cleaning up to do.
Can you see me now? Am I real? Am I real enough? Take me! Please! Take me! save my village.
Bitsakın redamcı. 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 Bitsakın redamcı.
Joy, that is all. We thank you from my heart for being here tonight. I know some of you may need to leave or desire to leave, but if you would like to stay, we will be having a healing circle right here. We'll begin that in about 5 to 7 minutes. For those of you who must leave us, go in peace, go knowing you are loved, you are cherished, and know that there's always someone there to hear your story. All you have to do is be brave enough to speak it. Speak it, someone will listen. You are never alone. For those of you who can stay with us for the healing circle, we'll begin that in about 5 or 7 minutes.